Okay, so let's talk about the band then. It's it's a curious lineup. It's a multi-generational lineup. Did that just happen by accident, or was it just something so blindingly obvious you just had to follow what was in front of you?
It's a sort of bit of a weird start to the band, really. I'm a teacher at Saddleworth School, the local secondary school, media studies teacher, and the Rowan, the bass player there, and Jazz, the drummer, they went to the school, but I didn't teach them. And then when they left school 2 years ago, Rowan started going out with my daughter, and he was around our house one day. It's really weird, and he just said, and I knew he was a phenomenal bass player and keyboard player and all that. And he just said, "Let's have a listen to some of your songs," because I've been writing songs on acoustic and piano and stuff, and he just said, "Yeah, we could do something with that." And we just thought, "We'll jam it." We knew Jared, Jazz, the drummer, and we sort of got a little garage room together and went from there, really. We did about 3 or 4 months, and we pretty much realised that because I was playing guitar, everyone sings in the band, so we all shout and sing, and we knew we wanted another link, and we put sort of local feelers out and got Dom, the guitarist. So we're all Saddleworth based, and we're all probably within 1.5 miles of each other.
So because of this, because the age range, does this bring quite different influences into the group, or do you find you just listen to the same stuff anyway?
Rowan, what do you think?
I think we listen to similar stuff in a way, but like there's a lot of stuff that I've shown Nick that he's never heard of, like from newer generations that influenced me in
No, he's right.
In
I mean, what kind of things?
Electronic music and stuff.
Yeah.
That Nick doesn't particularly like. Drum and bass music and stuff, which weirdly influences me in creating some of the songs we do.
I think we have a shared love of like Pixies and sort of early punk and that sort of stuff. But weirdly, the Jazz, the drummer, and Don, they come from a different background musically altogether. Jazz is very much a metal drummer. He's very technical, and so he listens to bands that no way do I know. Maybe like Periphery and stuff like that. And Dom's more like into Radiohead and Johnny Greenwood style guitaring, so he brings that sort of piece to it, really. But where me and Rowan connect on the I love a Pixies, punk, Clash, that sort of stuff. Obviously, like say, Rowan's very much into this electronic side as well, which is awesome. You know, it really makes for a different feel.
So without that kind of music, the music you meet on, do you listen to it in different ways? Do you get different things out of it?
What do you think, Doc?
You know, like because you're listening to it from a different generational perspective, a different filter. Does it sound, you know, when you talk about it, do you find things that are interesting about it in different ways, or maybe just completely the same? You know,
I don't think so.
I think I can give you my perspective on it. Rob maybe could add to it, but I think we don't have those sort of conversations, to be honest, John. We just we go to the same gigs for that type of thing, and we're into that where we do connect. It's just we don't talk about age about it. We just talk about the music.
Yeah, I was kind of more interested. It's always interesting to know what people think of the music you grew up with, whether they listen to it like 40 years later. You know, it's different ways of connecting with it. But I mean, obviously, it doesn't affect the sound of the band. I mean, the band itself, I mean, I can sort of tell where you're coming from, but it is twisted in a different way. So I guess that is part of the multi-generational lineup. It gives it a different edge, different energy, a different focus.
Yeah. It probably does give it a different sort of edge or focus. I don't really know how to answer that question.
Well,
to be honest, Will.
I think because music's so accessible now, you can basically listen to whatever you want at the minute. So I've kind of listened to the same music as Nick anyway. So we've got similar influences in that perspective, I suppose. So I don't think it makes too much of a difference in that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Everything is new. Everything is there at the same time, isn't it? There's no...
I could sort of see, we're getting asked a lot at the minute, to be honest, in interviews. We're getting asked an awful lot about this multi-generational age thing, and there's 2 of you older and 2 of you are 18, and it's like I can totally see why the question's being asked, obviously, and it's not stupid for me, but we've never really, between the 4 of us, we've never really had those discussions. We've just been like 4 people, and we just happen to be that age, and that's just the way it's gone. It's been other people who've said to us, and how does it feel that you're old enough to be his dad or whatever? And it's like, it just feels like today. It's just not. Yeah.
But it's probably the magic of music that it doesn't matter. It's the greatest leveler of them all. And once you're in the room, aren't you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you look like. It's the music that takes over.
There's probably that, but also, I mean, I'll be straight up with that. I mean, some of the sort of gaffs that he goes to at night and parties on with, then I wouldn't necessarily find myself at 4 o'clock in the morning these days doing the sort of stuff that he's doing. But that's all part of it. I've definitely done that in the past myself. So we have separate social lives in that respect. I'm sure that he wouldn't like to come, out to the boozer with my mates or whatever. But we all go to the pub with each other as well. So it's like a completely isolated thing from our lives. It'd be weird, wouldn't it, if like my age, I'm going out with his mates and the same thing otherwise. But in the music, because it'd just be weird.
Music's different, isn't it?
Hey?
Music's different, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like John just said then, the music's just the connection, isn't it? And of course, he more or less lives here anyway because he's going out with my daughter.
So it really is family. Yeah. So how does it work on a creative level then? Is it everybody's goes contributing to the part, or is somebody kind of sketches out a song and everyone joins in on it, or is it all different angles, different ways?
Well, usually Nick writes the songs, like the fundamental parts and lyrics, and then he brings it in and we add to it. I don't think if any of us weren't in the band, our songs would sound completely different. You know what I mean? We're all playing a big part in the creation of them.
So so everybody brings in the flavours, brings in the textures, changes the song.
From my sort of idea there my thing is words, really. I like, I'm totally into writing lyrics and having a message on. I mean, whatever it is, or a slice of life, or whatever it is in the lyrics that we've written. But the skills that these guys they just take the ideas from my head and turn them into the sort of symphonies for me that I could never do. There are a couple of songs though, out of what we've done that haven't come from lyrics or just an acoustic guitar or bashing on the piano. They've just come from bass and drums, and we've just riffed off that and gone home and then lyrics. Or sometimes, I mean, the last song we're working on right now, it's just could be like set the guitar up, record it on a WhatsApp, send it to the group, and then obviously it's been different in lockdown, hasn't it? So you've had to communicate differently, and then we all chip in on a WhatsApp group and then take it into the rehearsal room from there. We've got a smart rehearsal room at the minute that's really massive, so up in so pressure in Diggle, so it's great for getting our ideas together. We're really buzzing about the songs at the minute.
So you found you've been able to function quite well in this period, apart from playing gigs?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know, do you want to take out from your point of view, Rowan? Gigs?
Well, what you said, other than playing gigs, I'm pretty sure we've been fine. I think we've got more time to focus on writing songs and stuff now, so I've kind of improved. I've been practicing those more as well. So for me at least, yeah, I'd say it's been better other than gigs. Since lockdown.
So in a sense, it's a positive because you've had time to actually hone this thing down, ready for when the pandemic ends. Then the band's really ready.
Yeah, it's like plan for stuff. We've been planning more. Since lockdown, I think we've been doing loads better, progressing loads better. I've noticed.
Yeah, I think so too. I think just when March came, we're just about to release the single "All on Me" then, and we were just getting the gigs together. And obviously, we've had to. You can look at that 2 ways, can't you? You could either stop and that's that for a while, or you could turn it to your advantage. And because we live fairly near each other, we could communicate well. And we've just written new songs and been very creative, and it's given me a chance in particular from the word side to just reflect about what the F's going on about around us and try and bring a different side, not just doom and gloom, but try and find something positive about, through all the shit that's going on around us.
Yeah, before the pandemic hits, you were very much talked about band on an upcoming scene of Manchester bands, like a wave of Manchester bands. They're not similar in style, but there was definitely a feeling there was something going on in town. And I guess you don't really, because you live out on the east side of town, you don't really feel part of it, but you were part of it in a sense.
Right.
I mean, did you feel part of it at all?
We've done most of our gigs in Manchester, so.
Yeah, that's true. We have been playing gigs in Manchester, but we hadn't been sort of like quite. There's like little scenes around little clubs and pubs in Manchester, in the little punky groups, and I suppose. These two were studying in Manchester then anyway.
Yeah,
they were at the music colleges, BIM, and the music Manchester College, so they were drinking probably around that time anyway, and sort of messing about and discussing it. But I get what you mean. It is it can be a bit cliquey, Manchester, can't it, with its up and coming scenes and that.
Yeah, it is in a sense, but it was working in a positive way, because when people would talk about the good new bands in town, the bands to check out, you're always getting mentioned in them. So.
Oh, right. Oh, well, so like you say, we must have been on the outside of it then, because I didn't know.
Yeah, but that's cool, isn't it? Because I think a lot of the best art and music always gets made from the people on the outside looking in. You know, they don't waste the time running around all the hip scenes. They just get on doing the art, don't they? So
that's very much what we're about.
So you're about your lyrics. So what kind of themes you write about lyrically, or is it just varies? Each song has lots of different things about it, or is there a general trend of things you like to write about?
No, obviously I've got a few years to dip back into various life experiences, good and bad. So I like to each song, from my perspective, I like to have a little story in it. So All On Me is about a time of when everybody gets in debt, don't they? But when debt in my life got to me when my kids were very little, and there was no way out for a while, and it just seemed like everything was crushing my head, and I seemed to be paying off one person with another, and it was just never seemed to get out of this drowning sort of feeling of debt. But lots of our songs are positive and happy. They're not just about that. It's just that one. I like to write a different, every time there's a new song, I like it to be about a different theme. I'm not too up on love and romance, to be honest. And we've got one song that vaguely sort of tags romance in it, but the more sort of, not the darker side of life, shall we say, but the more sort of edgy, maybe, I don't know, edgy is a shit word, isn't it? The side of life that isn't necessarily what's considered the norm, shall we say, because that's probably where we've come from.
Kind of snapshots of life, in a way.
Yeah, snapshots of life and situations that you can find yourself in. And I think one thing about writing something is, if you bullshit people and you just make things up and nick them from Google or a newspaper and write a song about it, people can always see through it. And then when you get asked about it, you're not really speaking from what's in there, are you? So I can honestly guarantee that every song we ever write will be an experience, something that's happened to us as a band or me as a writer, whatever. But they'll be genuine, I'm very keen that is the focus of the lyrics.
I know this is probably impossible to answer, but what are your plans for the future? I mean, God, it's hard to work out what the future's plans for the future are. But as a band, you're going to make, it's going to be more recording. Is it going to be attempt to play gigs? I mean,
well, I can tell you one thing. Rowan's just hit 18 last week, so his plans are very much for me to buy him lots of beer by the look of the last few days. Well, you take that one. What are your plans?
Make music. That's it, really. I don't really care about. Obviously, it'd be nice getting bigger. I'm not really too asked about that. It's just, as long as I can get a career out of doing music, like, as long as I'm alright with it. having fun. So it's just fun doing it. I mean,
which is the most honest answer you can ever give in a band, anyway, isn't it? Everything else is just made up, isn't it?
not having fun with it, then well, what's the point? You know what I mean?
I know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, well, great. That's all I need, because it's an introductory piece on the band. And just one thing that's not got to do with the interview. But who was the person that gave me the dog?
Me.
Was
well,
it
it was
Wow.
It was my mum. My mum said, "Remind him about the dog." I said, "I will, mum."
So the last time I met you, you were about 10 years old or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Wow. I remember you. I remember really clearly going to your house, and I remember really clearly.
In Droylsden.
Yeah. We got the bus to Droylsden, and we had a shoebox to put the dog in to bring it back on the bus. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I remember your house. The dog's mum had wrecked the house because it kept chewing all the cables.
Yeah,
it was like a really badly. Mum, It was a dead nice dog, but a really badly behaved dog, wasn't it? There's loads of holes in the walls where it just been scratching all the wallpaper off.
How long did he live till?
17 he lived to.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's amazing how long he lived. Yeah. We only took him because he was like the run to the litter. I remember when the mother was suckling all the puppies and he couldn't get in. He's running around in circles. We thought that's the one we'll have. and you called him Basil, hadn't you? But we changed his name.
That's right. Yeah. That's what my mum said. So tell him who's got Basil. And I'm like, I didn't know you even called him Basil.
yeah. But he was only about 4 days old. So didn't really know his name. Yeah. But if your mum wants pictures, I'll send them over. Yeah.
Right. The weird thing is that my dad, bless him, he's got Alzheimer's, so he's in a home now. But it was like Bonnie, the mum, was his dog really, and he would love the picture, to be honest, because they're the sort of thing he could put on his wall. Yeah, well, people with Alzheimer's, that's the sort of thing they recognise. You know, in real time or normal life, they can't. Their heads are gone for that. You're taking pictures of stuff when they were growing up, and they totally go back into it. It's mad how it happens.
Yeah, it's just like little
music as well. Head. Music. We've bought him a music player, and he just lifts the lid up, and it's got all these MP3s from, Simon and Garfunkel and Beatles and all that. It just raves off.
It's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? The power of music. It's the ultimate communication, isn't it? Yeah. Even though you're a person of words, the songs actually say something on a far deeper, more profound level than the words, aren't they? People get
absolutely.
So 40 years time, somebody else Simon may put on one of your songs, and they're totally in a place with it. And that's the power of it all, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thanks for that.